Touchdown, Westerly!
A chance for the Chargers, and they score!
In the front, Fuzzy again!
And we are on. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Man About Town here on beautiful 321 Media in beautiful downtown Westerly on not such a beautiful day, but at least it's not doing anything at the moment. We've had a little bit of doing, but it's not really doing anything at the moment. We have a different kind of Valentine's Day show for you today. Not your typical stuff. We've got a lot of fun. 3 o'clock, which is now, we're going to do a little drinking. And at 4 o'clock, we're going to have a justice of the peace. And if I drink too much, I might marry him. Oh. I don't know.
Sister wife Rona.
Oh my gosh. So we are here today with DJ Gadget, the producer, my right hand and my left foot. However, we are not here with Roxy the radio dog. She is on assignment with Lester Holt, and they are on the road. I'm not sure if they're in Hamas or where they are, but she'll be back next week. But I am here with a friend that I know really very little about, even though I've known you for a bunch of years. Greg Post, and I'm going to call you Greg. You want to be Greg, not Gregory?
Either one's
like
fine.
The Pope?
I usually say Gregory just so people don't call me Craig. So that's it. It's really just a defense against.
We're here with Craig.
Oh, that's it. All right. Well, thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.
He is one of the managers at Saltwater Farm Vineyard in Stonington, and he is associated with their sister vineyard, Kingdom of the Hawk in North Stonington. Mm-hmm. And I bet you closed the magazine up already, right? We'll have to hold it up to the camera later. If you are a reader of Inc. magazine, you may have seen the column, What is Greg Drinking? And he has a monthly column. He talks, he goes back and forth between wine and beer. Beer. Are you going to sing or what? Mm-hmm. Okay. She will hold it up in a moment, but I really have no idea what we're going to talk about other than wine for Valentine's Day, wine anytime.
Yeah. And just I think,
wine not.
Getting the assignment. Not? Yeah. Why
if
not?
I didn't say it, you would have.
I would have.
I think he was about page 42 in that one.
Thank you.
But you'll find. There it is. So hold it up to the camera, and there he is. What is Greg drinking?
Oh, that is a lovely Bouget, which is a pet nat, lower ABV, naturally fermented sparkling wine out of France. That particular style of winemaking actually predates champagne.
You are showing off.
A little bit.
Already.
Yeah, a little bit. So, yeah.
Let's give you just a little background here because you are born and raised in Mystic?
I was born actually in Hawaii because my dad is a Marine.
Oh, didn't know that.
But during one of his deployments, my mother decided to come back to Mystic where they're both from. And that's where my brother was born. But I was raised here. I don't have any memories of Hawaii. So, all I have is a possible conflict. If I ever run for president and they want to say that I was born elsewhere.
Yeah, that's the Hawaii thing.
That
right.
door is open, unfortunately. Yeah. So
just found out. Actually, I did not know that he went to St. Michael, which we can almost throw a stone at from here. And UConn, I know that.
UConn alum, was a former UConn mascot. I was one of the Huskies while I was there. Fun fact.
They have people put on Husky suits?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, dance around, get everybody all jazzed
Jonathan's
up.
Amazing.
Fun fact.
Aren't you a little tall to be a Husky dog?
Literally, the mascots have to be a certain height. They approach you
That's like the Rockettes have
yeah.
to be a certain height.
Yeah, they will they'll say to you on campus if they run into you and they think you have the right energy. I was waiting on a table of people from the athletic department at one of the restaurants on campus, and they said, "How tall are you?" And I told them, they're like, "It's perfect for the suit. Have you ever thought about being Jonathan?" And I said,
How
"The
tall?
dog."
I know you're very tall.
6'1".
I thought you were about 6'4".
No, I think that's just this the Leo personality.
It's the hat.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay. So you have been with Saltwater and Mike, and I almost said Mike and Myrna. I know a Mike and Myrna. You have been with Michael and Marilee Connery, the owners of both vineyards, since they opened.
No, since 2017.
Oh, they opened in 2010. I believe.
Oh yeah. I knew them
Okay.
a little while before I started working there. The universe kept plopping me into whatever spaces they were in. They would be hanging out somewhere. I would end up at the same table. They went to Open M Bar every time they did a soft opening. I thought it was open to the public. I would show up, and my wife would be like, "I don't think they're open yet." And they're open. We'd walk in. They weren't open. Michael and Marilee, being who they are, would invite us in for a glass of wine, and then eventually
They said we better hire him.
Yeah.
He's going to rob us blind.
just kind of wore them down. Yeah. So
That's great. So you have met a lot of people. You've seen a lot of weddings.
a lot of weddings, a lot of nuptials. Yeah.
Does it, after a while, and this is going to lead into our justice of the peace, who's probably going to come in about 45 minutes or so, but does every bride just look the same? Does it all seem the same, or is it all different and special?
I'm on the other end of the spectrum. I'm a hopeless romantic. I get jazzed up for every one of these weddings, especially, because the bridal loft is the ensuite built onto the saltwater main space.
Right.
And there's always this moment where a couple of the bridesmaids trickle down, maybe mom comes down, and then the next person down is her. And she's in the dress. None of us have seen her in it yet. And some of the brides we get to know really well. Some only are around maybe once or twice before their wedding. But on that day, it is truly remarkable how much emotion it invokes. And, also now that I have kids, seeing the reactions of some of the parents when they see their daughter walk down the stairs has reduced me to strong allergy symptoms on more than one occasion.
I'm allergic.
I see.
Yeah. So.
All right. So what are we doing today? We're going to learn about wine?
Yeah, a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of just practical enjoyment. Even though it is February.
Yeah.
That's a nice sound.
Oh, that was 10 out of 10 for
You
sure.
do that so well.
Have
You don't say the words I do when I put the thing in and go, damn. Wow, look at that. Another
Yeah.
pop. Yay.
Right.
So I was just in a play. I'm going to totally interject. And one of the we had a Foley artist who did all the sound effects and stuff. And so one of the sound effects was a popping, and I could have used you.
It's funny because I was just telling Rona, I was in New York, going through the first level.
Tell people what you did. I'm very impressed by that. I didn't know. So take it from the beginning, and remember, we're all 6.
Yes, right. My aunt and uncle who live in the Bay Area and are big wine enthusiasts approached me after the holidays and offered to basically they were going to take care of all the costs and arrangements of getting me into the city to take a intensive 2-day course that covers everything from wine theory to history, topography, wine making.
Wow.
And then
Who gives that? Is it a school, a college?
So it's called the Court of Master Sommeliers, which was founded.
Believe it or not, I have heard of that.
Yeah. It's an old institution started in England. Now it's obviously stateside. There are several levels. I'm now past level 1 in my life. I do see myself probably taking a shot at 2 and 3. The final master sommelier level, the joke that my teachers were making was that more people have been to space than have received the 4th distinction, and there have been more popes than there are people who have gotten the 4th distinction. One of our teachers told us anecdotally that she almost gave up after her 9th time trying and failing, because you can only take the 4th level
like
exam.
taking the bar exam.
You can only do it once a year.
bar exam.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
So you can only take it once a year, and it's a group of your peers. These are people you know at this point. If you're in level 3, and she went 9 years in a row and didn't pass, and then passed on her 10th try. And so,
Wow.
yeah, I don't know if I have that level of fanaticism.
Now, if you go through all that, it gets you a better job. You can work in a really upscale restaurant, not talk to us again, put the
probably, yeah,
the napkin over your arm,
Mhm.
and be very snooty and a
She,
pain in the butt.
She runs, for example, a wine cellar for a restaurant in Texas that's valued at like $500,000. And a couple of other teachers, similar situations, New York,
Wow.
DC. I mean, these are places where you're going down into a cellar and somebody's ordered a vintage from their daughter's birthday year to celebrate her graduating from college. Let's say a $5,000 bottle of Bordeaux between friends. But it's their job to make sure the wine is opened correctly, that it's
Wow.
intact, that's decanted, and
Well, wait a minute. You said it's their job to know that it's open correctly. It's not open like you just did. Whiz
silently.
bang, thank you, ma'am.
Silently, yeah.
Pop.
Silently, and then especially for an older red like that, you would for sure want to decant.
How are you able to do it silently?
Yeah, it's the opposite of what I did. Instead of the big flare, it's a real small, just kind of
A flaret.
yeah, just like a little, like a goldfish touching the surface of the water versus the rock being thrown in.
That's why he asked me. He was like, "Do you want the pop sound?" And I was like, "Of course, I want the pop sound." Now I'm just a hooligan.
I mean,
yes.
This is what we do at Saltwater too. I mean, Saltwater is a fun place. We have
It's
a lot
drama.
of live music.
It's fun. It's part of it.
Yeah. But that being said, I mean, if I, for example, do take the second or third level exams, that is something that I would get deducted a point on if I make
You would
noise.
be deducted for popping.
Mhm.
It's
That's right.
kind of like chewing bubble gum in class.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So, explain to them, and then we'll move on. When you were done about the exam, and when you have to leave, and
Yeah.
if you're asked to leave, and
So I took the train down on Sunday night, right after the snowstorm, and Monday morning, 7:45, you're being signed in to Maestro Steakhouse, which is a block away from 30 Rock. You're ushered down into the basement, no windows. There are 3 geniuses in the industry out of a few hundred in the world that are just waiting for you. You and 49 of your new best friends are filed in, and at 8:05, you take off. You are learning.
they don't give you donuts.
Are they
do
wearing like cloaks and in a circle and
I was kind of
humming?
disappointed that they didn't have cloaks, but they were dressed quite well. No, they the owners of the steakhouse did furnish us with some coffee and croissants,
Oh, that's nice.
which was nice.
Yeah.
My nerves were so high that I could barely keep down one, but I gave it my best.
Well, are you doing a lot of drinking then during the day?
You have to
while
spit
you
so
have
that
to
you don't,
spit,
so
right.
you don't go off the rails. Although I will say that one of the teachers was really kind, and the last tasting of the first day, she could tell that we were behind the eyes, just spinning.
Yeah.
And she said, "Why don't we do the last group of tastings informally? Sip the wine, enjoy it, and then go out, get a burger and a beer. Don't think about wine until tomorrow." But it's 8 to 6 the first day.
Wow, that's intense.
And then it's 8 till 4:35 the second day, followed by a 70 question exam. And then they march you upstairs. They pour champagne. They read who passed. You get pinned in front of your classmates. If you didn't pass, they pull you off to the side and give you your options for retaking it. And then if you're me, you go to, with a couple of your classmates, to one of the better wine bars in New York, where
After all this, you went and had wine.
oh, heck yeah, I did. Yeah. I ordered 1 glass of wine, which costs more than most bottles I'd be willing to buy on my own. And then they said, "Do you want another?" And I said, "No, thank you." And my second glass of wine on the way home on the train was a Amtrak special vintage.
I'm
So-
sure. I'm sure. Yeah. Amtrak's not going to, and they're not going to make the pop. They're
No.
going to do the screw off.
No,
right?
you don't. And the server, when I told her, as she handed me my screw top half bottle of wine, was not super impressed with the fact that I just gotten pinned. I was like, I can tell you everything about this wine.
That's
The
what I was
soil,
gonna, like, if
the
you go to a
climate.
restaurant now, is it like different for you? And you're like, oh, they did that wrong. Oh, they did that wrong.
I mean,
this is gonna suck.
I think I'm going to be more aware of some of these things, but I'm also not from historically this background. So I don't think I'm going to hold it against people.
All right.
Ultimately, wine is equal parts art and science.
Mhm.
It's farming, but it's also the vision. Like Michael and Marilee aren't winemakers, but they had a vision when they saw that old airplane hangar.
Right.
So they are a part of wine because they saw the potential there. Our vineyard master, James, is from Ashaway. He's like a swamp Yankee through and through. He grew up, got the opportunity to do work out in the field, and then ended up taking over that job. Our winemaker is based out of the North Fork of Long Island. He's from outside of Champagne in France. He's won all these awards. Now think about those, how the universe had to connect those people all to have them
Right.
together to make these wines. And then how lucky I had to be placed into their orbits. So if I'm at a
You
wine
kept
bar,
pushing yourself inward. You didn't belong.
that's right. And I will
That's how
continue
you
to
got
do
it.
so. Yeah. But I mean, if I'm at a wine bar and I order a Sancerre and it's great
also,
and they open it poorly,
the soil has to be just right, and it can't be for every grape.
correct.
The soil there had to be right for just certain varieties. And it must be the same at Kingdom of the Hawk. And we need to talk about Kingdom of the Hawk a little bit later, because I'm amazed there are people that have no idea that there's a second vineyard.
Well, we're
It's
working
so
on that.
easy and right off the exit.
Yeah, I mean, your point about the soil is actually extremely important to the wine process. Wine, like traditional vinifera, the stuff that we make wine out of, only really flourishes between the 30 and 50 parallels. So too far up, it's going to be too icy, too cold, too much rain, not enough heat for the grapes to get ripe. Too far south, and over-ripened, too high sugars, too sweet of wines. So where
So
Stonington,
it's a balance.
yeah, Stonington
It's a
really has
delicate
more in
balance.
common climate-wise with the Loire Valley in France, like Burgundy, Bordeaux, these continental to coastal regions of France that have cool, wet springs, warm but not hot summers, with a kind of slow transitions into the fall. So we were lucky being on the Sound there. The soil content was rich. The weather was supportive. And the joke that all winemakers make, that Michael has made a few times, is the way that you make a small fortune being a vineyard owner is to start with a large fortune. So we were lucky that Michael and Marilee were willing to invest both mentally, physically, but also fiscally in a process that, when you plant the vines, best case scenario, year 4, year 5, you're going to get a crop to make wine with. And that's if everything goes great. Then you still have to bottle it. You have to build a tasting room. So, I mean,
Yeah, this is not like, I was I was looking for ice melt yesterday, and I went to Ocean State Job Lot, and they're all sold out.
sure.
But they had all their seeds there for the spring, because at a certain date you put the stuff out, it doesn't matter what. And I was thinking to myself, with seeds, you plant them, and then in a couple of months you put them in the ground or whatever.
Mhm.
That's it. But with wine, you plant, and it's a couple of years,
Mhm.
isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you have to be, one of two things has to happen. You either have to be willing to invest not just in the process of planting the vines and building your trellis system, installing irrigation if needed, all that, getting a tractor, getting a team, that's one expense. But you won't start getting recouped in wine sales unless you buy grapes or juice from another provider to start making wine in advance. So if you're just organically starting it from day one, you're not going to sell a bottle of wine that you made for probably 4, 5, 6 years.
Yeah. So you have to have a lot of patience
Mhm.
and money.
Yeah.
Both.
And luck.
Wow.
So.
Wow. Money, patience, and luck. And then with the El Nino and La Nina, does that affect and climate change? Does that affect what's happening down there in the ground
Not yes and no. I mean,
and on
climate
the
change.
vines?
Climate change has really changed our growing season. At least we now frequently are waiting until the back end of October, sometimes early November, to harvest.
Mhm.
Whereas when I first started in 2017, it was usually early to mid October. So, a week, 10 days, 2 weeks doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a lot for grapes. The plus side of climate change is regions like ours, now that we're getting a little bit warmer, the grapes are able to mature a little bit more than they were. The Brix level, which is BRIX, if you can hit 20 in this area, you're doing great. So we're getting, a few years now where we've had north of 20. The downside is we're, another Sandy away from losing vines. I mean, you can have a storm come up and wash your
Another
vines
Sandy,
away.
Wow.
We got lucky with Sandy. The vines were dormant when Sandy hit, so they didn't die off from the saltwater exposure.
Oh, you were lucky.
But if that storm had hit 2 weeks before, we could have lost the whole field.
Oh.
And then you have to hit the reset button, right? I mean,
Is there insurance that covers that?
There is.
And I would imagine very expensive insurance.
I can't imagine it's cheap. I'm not privy to those invoices, and
No.
I don't want to be footing them
No,
either.
I'm sure you don't. I would assume, and I could be wrong, that the majority of the people who are watching this, listening to this, are kind of on the amateur end of wine. So what should they be looking for, asking for, and when they go to Saltwater and to Kingdom of the Hawk? Tell us what the process is. When people come in, you're behind that counter.
Mhm.
If you don't already know them, do you ask them what they want, what their experience is, if they've been here before?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing you have to do is just field their wine experience prior to you meeting them, right? So I have a couple quick questions. Are you into chilled wines, red wines, both? Are you looking for something drier or fruitier? What's your feeling on acid levels? Do you like a pucker when you're taking a sip? Do you need a really soft landing? How do you feel about oak? Just a few basic questions like that. If that goes over their head, you just ask them, do you want dry or sweet?
Right.
Cold or room temp?
Or what kind of paper bag do you want around when you're in the alley?
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And so once I get a feel for that, then what I try to do is I pick a wine that I think is in the middle of the extremes that they've listed that they like and don't like. And I use that as a barometer. So if somebody comes in, these two rosés are a good example, right? The Pinot Noir rosé.
Rosés are kept cold?
Chilled, yeah. And a traditional rosé, just for the people at home, if you are new to the wine culture, it's a chilled wine made with red wine grapes. So you're taking, in this example, Pinot Noir, in this example, Cabernet Franc.
They look exactly the same to my eye.
And they're both French varietals, so that tracks. You're pressing the grapes, but with white wine, you take the skins away immediately. With red wine,
that's what I was gonna say. I had like a whole bunch of true or falses in my head. All wine is made from the same-ish kind, like same grapes, right?
White wine is made with white wine grapes.
Oh, okay.
Red wine is made with red wine grapes.
All right.
Rosé is made with red wine grapes. Orange wine, which is more common in Europe,
Orange wine
is made with white wine grapes. Orange wine is basically just rosé made with white wine grapes. So you would take a Chardonnay.
So it's making it lighter in color.
Darker. It's the opposite. It's like, so in your rainbow of wine, red wine is here, white wine is here. When you make rosé, you're leaving the skins on for 1 day, 2 days, enough to give it this much color. Then you separate it out and treat it like a white wine. With orange wine, it's the opposite. It's already white. You leave the skins on to make it a little bit darker and give it a little bit more tannin. Then you separate it out and treat it like a white wine. But so in this example, you have Pinot Noir, Cabernet Franc. This is going to be drier and lighter. This is going to be medium and a little bit more like a Spanish rosé, a little bit fruitier. But in a traditional rosé, you'll see all sorts of red wine grapes being used. Merlot, Malbec.
Which one is fruitier? This one?
The Cabernet.
The Cabernet. Hey.
Yeah.
But normally when people come in or I sit at a bar and I hear someone say, I want a cab, they're talking about a red wine.
Yeah. And in this country, when people ask for a cab, they're typically asking for Cabernet Sauvignon, which is, it is the child of two other grape varietals, Cabernet Franc being one. Cab Sauv is harder to grow in this area. There's a few vineyards in Long Island that grow it with some success. We don't grow it at either one of our properties. Cabernet Franc, the father grape to that varietal, is a little bit hardier. It's a Bordeaux varietal, so it's from a part of France that gets a little bit more rain and a little bit more wind. So it just has what it needs to hold on a little bit longer. So,
and it's primarily, all of them are from France.
Like traditional vinifera.
Wait, what's vinifera?
Vinifera is the term for grapevines that we're using for wine. So vinifera is old world traditional French varietals. There are old world traditional Italian and Spanish varietals. It's important to differentiate that from the grapes that make Welch's, or for that matter, in this country and in other countries, to adapt to climate. You can breed grapes to create hybrids or crossings. Those grapes are going to be designed. So in Wisconsin, there's a school that does a lot of hybrid cloning, and they're designing grapes that can survive in the Midwest with a lot of snow and a lot of frost and a lot of heat in the summer.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Now, do you think those grapes, like because of those conditions, despite the fact that they're trying for that, are going to be like a more bitter or a more, like it's going to be tougher, obviously. So what would that do to the taste? Sweeter.
Mm-hmm. Because the grapes are going to fight harder to survive, and they're going to develop kind of they're not going to have that
store
salinity.
That sugar.
It's going to, it's more, So we have many vineyards, even in New England, that have a lot of hybrids planted. And you'll just notice that in general, they tend to be a little bit denser, a little bit fruitier, or a little bit sweeter.
It's kind of like when they have new breeds of dogs.
Yes.
They're putting, a golden doodle with a something else to get. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that you could talk about a common hybrid that's in this area is St. Croix. St. Croix is like a golden doodle. It was designed to have some of the aspects of a traditional wine, but survive under extreme conditions. So,
why are you giggling over there?
Because it's funny. We should have service wine, service animal, service wine.
Okay.
This is just how my brain works.
I can tell you that
we get about 2 minutes before we go to break. So I just want you to finish your thought for now. We'll still be coming back to you, but
very quickly.
Yeah. I would just say that in general, if you give, whether it's at a wine bar, restaurant, or a vineyard, if you give the person behind the bar, if they're invested in the experience with you, just a little bit of information about what you like, and then just be open-minded. Because if it's something like Chardonnay that's planted all over the world, some Chardonnay is oaked, some is aged in concrete, some is aged in steel. You have Chablis in France. It's very different than the Chardonnay that I had on the Amtrak yesterday. So you might like one of those and hate the other, but you won't know unless you always keep a space open for it. So.
And also you said that, you should tell the person behind the bar. It's a lot different going to salt people and just hire somebody because he or she has had bar experience. Doesn't mean they've had your kind of experience.
Yeah, and that can be said about package stores too. You walk into a package store and you go down the Chardonnay aisle, there's about 200 friends waiting to say hi to you.
Yeah.
If you haven't had that wine before, it is a risky proposition. You could get something that tastes like a stick of butter or a bag of potpourri or like a crisp farmer's market Granny Smith apple. All of those are going to be in that aisle.
I was in a restaurant about a week and a half ago, and I sat at the bar and I ordered Prosecco. And the guy said, okay, he was a young guy and he was back there and he's looking, and I'm thinking, oh, I'll bet they're out of it. And he's looking under the bar, and finally he came back. He said, what is it?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's
it would have helped if he asked me first.
Yeah.
Because he said, "Is it a wine or is it a?" And I said, "Yeah." And he it took him a while, but we found one together.
Aw, that's cute.
We are going to take a very short break. According to DJ Gadget, we will be back with Gregory Post. And I love these stories. We could do 2 hours of just you. You're listening to Man About Town, and this is 321 Media. We're in downtown Westerly, and we'll be right back.
Experience local excellence with Roof Right Roofing in Charlestown, Rhode Island. With over 40 years of unmatched expertise, Roof Right specializes in architectural shingles and holds the prestigious title of GAF Master Elite Installers. Known for their commitment to the community and support for local initiatives, Roof Right is your trusted partner for all of your home's roofing needs. Call today for a free estimate at 401-212-4140.
Hi, this is Dan from Lathrop Insurance. In this challenging insurance environment, Lathrop Insurance can be your beacon in the storm to help you find the coverage you need at the right price. Now, more than ever, you need a partner in the insurance industry that can work with multiple carriers to make sure you have the right coverage at the right price. Lathrop Insurance carries home, auto, and business insurance and can be reached at 401-596-2525. We've been supporting the local community since 1939, and we look forward to working with you.
What's going on, everybody? It's Patrick down here at the Wireless Zone at Dunn's Corners at 224 Post Road, and everybody down here is getting the brand new iPhone 16. We have it here in stock. The best part is right now, if you trade in your old phone, you get it for free. We got deals all weekend, awesome savings. Come on down and see us, 224 Post Road, Dunn's Corners, Verizon Wireless Zone. We'll see you soon.
D&V Mechanical specializes in the installation, maintenance, and servicing of Mitsubishi ductless mini-split heat pump systems. We are certified by Mitsubishi as Diamond Elite Contractors and factory trained and up to date on the proper procedure of the installation and service of Mitsubishi ductless heating and air conditioning ductless heat pumps. We assist with the paperwork to reduce much of the stress-related documentation required to get the state rebates and federal tax incentives. We are not a jack-of-all-trades, master-of-nothing company. We are masters of ductless heat pumps. It's what we do, and it's what we know.
She counts so well. We are back here at Man About Town. We are talking to Greg Post from Saltwater Farm, Kingdom of the Hawk Vineyards. And we have been joined during the break. A little gremlin came in, and that little gremlin is known to Greg and maybe known to you. This is Marie Tyler Wiley. I know you're in real estate, but you're no commercials today.
No, that's okay. But I'm actually here because I'm a wedding officiant.
I know. She is a justice of the peace. And if you have read, as I have for many years, about how on Valentine's Day, men and women can be, or men and men, or women and women can be married at the old Mystic Village for free by a justice of the peace. This is it,
Well,
right here.
that's true.
So we're going to get back to wine for a little bit. I know you know each other well. And what are you doing? That's mine. And hers.
Greg, you
And
forgot my
his.
straw.
You know what? The funnel's in the car, though. So
We will get to this, though. We haven't gotten to the drinking. We just found out he just passed level 1 of a sommelier course in New York. Isn't that great?
yes.
You can teach me.
Yeah. What I know more now than ever before is wine is as vast as the history of humanity, as the ocean, and there, you could simply never conquer it. And that's kind of in a way refreshing, because one of the master soms I was teaching in class talked about how many distinct varietals there are in Italy. And each expert on Italian wine differs on this, but you can get an answer 500, 800. And so his point was, you could go every night out in Italy to a different village and with your friends try a different unique varietal And statistically speaking,
And these are made by the different families in the
families
villages.
and villages, and
Right.
whether it was sponsored by the church or sponsored by this, you could almost never get to the finish line of even just trying to say that you tried every Italian wine,
Oh.
let alone
Exactly.
factoring in.
At least not without cirrhosis.
Right, exactly.
Well, that's
exactly.
something to aspire to, not the cirrhosis part.
Yeah. You
but
want to leave
getting
that
to
one
all
on the
the
table.
villages.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and that's not even factoring in. I mean, some of the more overlooked wine regions.
Yeah.
Here in the West, we don't talk about Croatia. We don't talk about Hungary. And these are some people argue the wine cultures there predate some of the stuff in the West,
Really?
and so it's.
Well, you were telling me earlier, I think before we went on the air, about a wine that predates champagne.
It's a style of winemaking called pet nat, which is short for petit natural, which is just making sparkling wine in its own. It has to do with the yeast and when the yeast is active and how it's activated and how you disgorge it. But it's an older style of sparkling wine. And so that's
Great.
Yeah, you spend.
Well, she already started. I've been looking
Yeah.
at the damn bottles for 45 minutes here.
So we're going to start with the Pinot Noir Rosé from Saltwater Farm first, not because Saltwater is the older of the two vineyards, but
and I
because
should
this is.
hold this up for the camera.
Yeah,
I don't know if you can see the Saltwater Farm on the
cheers.
glass.
It is the
Cheers.
lighter and drier of the two. So again, if I'm asking someone when they come in whether they like drier, fruitier, and they say drier, more austere, a little bit more acid,
Oh, that
this is what I'm going
dry.
to go with.
Yeah.
On the nose,
I like that.
you should be getting some stone fruit, some nectarine, some magnolia.
Really?
I'm not getting nectarine, and I like nectarines. I know what they smell like. I'm not.
I
You're
wouldn't know stone fruit if it fell on my head.
I've heard of stone fruit.
it's most of the fruits that have a pit
Yeah.
fall
okay.
into the stone fruit.
Yeah.
Some a little bit of rose in there.
I don't, as a rule, like dry wine, but this is good.
Yeah, it's dry without being.
Got some cheese? Did you bring with you?
Ooh. McQuaid's is right down the road. We could have this fixed in no
Cheese,
time.
a little French bread.
But yeah, so if somebody says drier, I would go with this.
Because that's not too dry at all.
No, our
Not
Sauv
at all.
our Sauv Blanc is the driest of anything on the menu.
Yeah.
And so if somebody's really leaning into that, I might start with that.
Mm.
The Reds program we'll visit some other time, but we have a Pinot Noir, we have a Cabernet Franc,
Some
we have a
other
couple
time.
blends.
What are you doing next week? We're gonna have
This
you
is a
back.
good show model, huh?
Yeah, I mean, get me out of the vines on a cold day
Yeah.
anytime you want to talk about.
I mean,
wine.
he's got a column in Ink magazine. He can be part of the radio and
Yeah.
streaming.
Yeah. So basically you just want, when Valentine's Day is coming, what the youth are saying, an expression that they use is so and so gets the assignment, which
You
is
understood the assignment.
yeah, and so your
Even
partner,
old people have said gets it
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
long time.
yeah, you want your partner or your roommates or your friends to know that if they have asked you, if you're the one in your group of friends that they think has the palate, and they say, hey, we're having a dinner party for Valentine's Day or Galentine's Day or whatever, bring some wine. Try to read the occasion. Think about the people that you're going to be sharing this wine with.
Think of the people, I would think, even more than the occasion.
Well, yeah. Well, the occasion is going to, I mean, for me, I think rosé is perfect because it's pink and it's celebratory.
Right.
So that speaks to Valentine's Day.
So
But
if you were going to get how do you understand this assignment? If you were to get a dry wine, because it says it probably on the bottle that it's dry or sweet or blah, 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 hopefully. But if you know you got a dry wine, you have a dry wine in your hand, next you're going for chocolate or cheese. Like what aisle are you going down?
Chocolates, you got to go to red. I learned that in California.
I mean, reds tend to be a little bit better with chocolate. I would say with cheese, it's just that's a tricky question too, because you either want a wine and food pairing to be complementary in the sense that they are matching intensities. Yeah. So you would take a really briny blue cheese and you would want maybe either something like this that has high acidity that kind of keeps up with it, or you go in the opposite direction and you
do
get
like
a sweet
brie
Riesling,
yeah.
because the
Like a sweet-
sweetness in the Riesling is going to draw out the salt.
Right.
It's a counteractive palate effect. So you take the bite of cheese, your mouth goes, ooh, that's salty.
Yeah.
Then you take a sip of a
that's
Gewurz
better.
or
And it pairs.
yeah,
It pairs
and
well.
it rounds out the palate for you, which is sometimes nicer than trying to do the keeping up game.
What's amazing is out in California when you go to the vineyards, and if they do a little tasting with you, they'll give you the same wine but with cheese or chocolate.
Mhm.
And the first time it happened to me, I was like, they switched. You had to switch the wine. They're like, no,
Yeah.
it's
Uh-huh.
the same.
So it's what he's saying about the palate.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we have we're actually doing a wine dinner tonight at Dock 9 in the Velvet Mill, and it's featuring 4 courses of their delicious foods, 4 of our wines, and then 4 different candied apples from a purveyor of candied apples that has a space in the Velvet Mill.
Yeah, I met her.
So yeah,
That's cool.
That's
So the real question here is, who wants to take me? I don't drink. You can have my wine.
I'll take you. I'll take you. And then you can drive me home.
Yes.
that's a nice 1-2 punch right there. You know,
Is that sold out? Do you know?
they were doing it not as one ticketed, one at a full seating. They were just doing rolling reservations.
Oh, I see.
So to that point, it sounded like they were pretty booked.
I
up tonight.
saw the menu
That's cool.
online. Very good.
Yeah, I mean they're a pretty new restaurant, but I think if you're going to try to make it in the culinary world, especially in this hotbed of food, wine excellence, doing something that draws in other places in the community that people are already passionate about, I
Smart.
think makes a lot
Wonderful.
of sense. Yeah. So
With all due respect to the Ocean House or the Capitol Grill up in Providence or the really fine dining restaurants, you can still have good wine and a good culinary experience at a much lesser price place around here. We've got great restaurants. Mystic. I mean,
100%.
you both are Mystic people.
Mhm.
Mystic's got fantastic restaurants. So does Westerly.
I mean, Westerly has a great scene
Yeah.
right now, and it's getting better every week. And one of the things that's interesting about people that decide to become a sommelier is that you can be one at any type of restaurant that wants to invest in having a beverage program that intrigues people, entices people, and meets them where they're at. I mean, one of the more prestigious somms in New York City started off working for these Gen X punk rock guys
Yeah.
that started like a
Your people.
Those are my people.
yeah, they started this Brooklyn pizza joint, and the food was great. You're sitting on park benches that they ripped up and put inside this building.
Yeah.
It's raw, it's exposed brick and metal,
Cool.
but they cared a lot about the beverages, but they didn't want them to be price prohibitive.
Yeah.
So they went out and paid
Good
to
for
bring
them.
in a sum and said, listen, get for this price point the right wines in here. And it became a hot spot. People from all over the city were going to this little dumpy pizza place for a bite of great pizza and a wine list that matched perfectly with the energy of the pizza. You don't need to be serving a $300, $500 bottle of, Blanc de Blanc.
Right.
At a pizza place, you just have to find something that fits the moment. It knows its place. So
You know where
Exactly.
you would love? You should go check it out because I'd love your opinion. I think it's called Union Market. It's on LaSalle Road
okay.
up in West Hartford. It's a restaurant,
Ooh.
and they are serious about their wine, and they're always enticing people to get acquainted and learn about it and taste it. And
Oh, I'll give it a shot. I mean, West Hartford is another culinary
Yeah.
hotspot, so that doesn't surprise me.
That's great. Well, what else do you want to say about wine for a couple of minutes? Because I wanted to move a little
Yeah.
bit into weddings, although we've got you till 5
worry
o'clock. But there's a perfect transition. When people come in to book a wedding,
Mhm.
and I know what the rules and regs are, say of saltwater, about buying at least one case,
Right.
and then you can do your own thing. But above that, are people very caring about what wines will be served? do they leave that to the caterer that they hire to suggest pairings? Or is it just, hey, we want to have a party and drink?
It's all of the above. I mean, you get couples that come from all different backgrounds and their families too. There are families that come in and have such specific wine requests and interests. And that's refreshing. You know, it's nice to talk to people that care a lot about it. And there are people that say, listen, as long as the dance floor is full, I don't care what they're having. Make sure it's pouring quickly.
That's
and
my
you know.
job.
Yeah, so you're talking to a DJ now.
Mhm.
She's worked
That's
DJ.
right.
Yeah, that's
You've
literally.
tons of
I'm
weddings.
about to put it on my website. You want people to dance or not? Like, as long as the dance floor is full, it's going to be a new package because that's all they say to me anymore. And I'm like, yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And I mean, and much like with wine, being a DJ is about reading the room. You know, you once you get the pulse of that group, what music is clicking with them and what isn't, you know, you can either do the right thing or you can say, I don't like this playlist. I'm going to do what I want to do. And then
I have done
watch
that.
them sit on
Yes.
on their hands.
And then
So-
you lose the entire room.
and I've worked enough weddings
Sometimes
to
people don't know what they want though. They'll say, "Oh, you know, this couple
Don't
is."
you show them playlists or
No.
ask them what kind of music they
Yes.
like?
I tell them I ask them what they hate actually.
that's I
Okay.
think a better question.
Yeah. What do you hate? Yeah. It's
All
gonna
right,
be
but
the same
if-
in wine. What do you hate?
Yeah. Oh,
I hate red wine. All right, we are going this way.
yeah.
like-
People come
But
in and
there's
say,
plenty
I
of
hate
people that
Chardonnay.
are going to drink red wine, so you better serve it
Right.
at your wedding or birthday party or whatever, or
Like,
you're going to lose people.
I know what to expect from my people who hate line dances. If they don't want line dances, they're not about the funny like anything like
Chicken
even
thing or whatever.
even
Yeah.
Watermelon Crawl or anything like that, which is a great country song. It's upbeat, it's fun. If a line dance starts, I did not understand the assignment.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm in trouble.
Right.
So I don't even play that, even though it's
So you
not-
don't play the chicken dance.
No.
I love you.
I think I told our
Yeah.
wedding DJ, I mean, my wife had very specific things because her family's Salvadoran. So we needed a blend of Spanish and English music.
And
I think,
he's very Irish.
yeah, but I think all I said was I don't like most of the songs Pink makes. I just find them to be, they sound like background music for an Old Navy commercial. And the DJ was like, so you want me to write no Pink? I'm like, that's my only insight on this. Please just,
Good for
Yep.
you.
you know,
And
And that's perfect.
I think it matters whatever you do, because I've always been great at what I do, is because you care about what you do.
Mhm.
So I've been a bartender, and all of this fascinates me because that's one of my favorite jobs.
I was going to ask you about that because I know you were a bartender
I was a
for a
great
long
bartender.
time.
People loved me. Had nothing to do with the alcohol.
Yeah, it was you were into them.
Yeah.
Well, Greg said it earlier. You meet people where they're at.
Yep.
Mhm.
And so then you go from there. But like as a DJ, I'm responsible for creating a moment that hopefully you'll never forget. And so it's not going to be the song. It's going to be the songs. It's going to be the whole moment. It's going to be hearing that on the radio again and going, oh, I love them.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's about taking that sip of wine and tasting maybe the peppers in it and remembering your trip to Chile.
Yes.
Like-
yes.
Right.
So I get it.
Well, that's true. I think about not just wine. I think it's true about food
Mhm.
Mhm.
and just experience. There's something that clicks, that sense memory that actors always talk about. You smell something, you taste something,
Brings you back.
feel something, and it takes you there. And it's your happy place, or sometimes it's not a happy place.
Amen
It brings
to
you
that.
back to.
And to that point, if during these months of gray, you find yourself feeling a little seasonally affected, remember, friends, Saltwater Farm Vineyard and Kingdom of the Hawk Vineyard will have regular music offerings for you, your friends.
I just got the email today
That's
about
right.
Valentine's weekend, who's appearing where, and this music almost all the time is free.
Yep, that's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
With the exception of if it's your Will Evans, who is a signed artist who has a team, obviously, that's a different arrangement. But for the most part, whether it's Dan Watson,
Nick
was,
Boss.
or Nick Bossy, who are bigger draws, or some of the other smaller acts in the area, we just want you to come out, bring a picnic, bring your friends, bring a loved one, bring a book if you don't want to see anybody.
You know,
anymore.
that amazed my neighbors when I finally got them to come to Saltwater. They said, we can bring our own food.
Mhm.
I said, yeah. They have food trucks and they have things like chips and cheese and that you didn't bring there.
Second to merit. Yeah, second to merit on that one.
Exactly. But they couldn't believe that people could come in with their dogs and the babies and the strollers and sit out on the deck there on the patio and listen to music. And the only thing you have to do is please don't bring your own wine. Buy it there.
That's right. That's right. We offer at both places wine as well as a rotating offering of Connecticut-based beers and ciders.
Yeah, right.
So really, listen.
And also non-alcoholic.
That's right. Plenty of those options as well.
Very, very popular and gaining more so. I saw that on NBC a couple of days ago that it's gone up something like 400% in the country. And they're looking for non-alcoholic beers and wines. And
in Connecticut, I mean, we have Athletic Brewing, which is arguably right now the premier non-alcoholic beer option in the country.
Is that the one in Willimantic?
No, they are like down by past New Haven. I think they're in Stratford, like closer to Bridgeport. But they are nationally known now. They've really taken it very seriously. And like you said, if it's something you're passionate about, like they are, you can do it right. Music at Saltwater is going to be shifting to Sundays in March, and Fridays and Saturdays will still be at Kingdom. Right now through February, Saltwater will have music on Fridays as well as Kingdom.
please tell them where Kingdom is. I mean, I can very easily, but
Kingdom's cool.
It is. People have no idea. They'll say, they have another one?
It's one exit away from Saltwater. It's exit 92. If you're traveling through Connecticut. Is it 92 if you're coming back?
It is 92. Okay. Yeah. And then either way.
It's right off the highway. You don't feel that you're as close to the highway as you are because you are in this dramatic.
Like you're out in the middle of nowhere.
Yes. Yeah. It's just
the view,
rolling hills and birds and the
so wonderful.
This is exit 92 ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I took 91 to get here, but
to stand out
the
there
exit for the Mystic Pizza too.
Is this the second one?
I was going to. Are you? What's going on? Yeah.
To stand out there on their balcony on a beautiful night, and well, like right now.
Oh, I haven't been there at night. I've only been during the day.
Full moon is today, and you see the full moon, or you see the hawks flying over.
Mm-hmm.
It is absolutely gorgeous.
And to
the
your
sunset.
Point, it's so family oriented.
Yeah.
They really are. Both places.
They want you to bring your babies, your kids,
and I also want to say that there has been a trend over the last couple of years of vineyards disparaging bachelorette parties or larger girl groups from going out because they're laughing too loud and they've got funny sashes. Let me just say something right now. All right. There's only a few safe spaces for women that are commonly accepted. I don't think it is. I just don't think it's the right idea to tell ladies you can't come to a vineyard to celebrate your friend getting married or her 30th or her 40th. You know what? At Saltwater Farm, if you're respectful, you don't have anything profane on your shirts. Come on in to Saltwater and Kingdom. Have some wine. I will happily take a group picture of you outside by the vines. Aww. Try to live your best life. Lord knows the breweries aren't telling the bachelor parties that they can't come in.
Yeah. So you're there to celebrate.
Right. Wine is a celebration.
I'm looking across the street at the library and Gadget will tell you we have them on with us once a month. And one of the things we always talk about is this ain't your grandmother's library.
That's right.
You're encouraged to make noise. The kids' room, there's laughter and there's running around. And I was in there yesterday and somebody was playing a guitar in one of the rooms.
That's awesome.
Why not? But years ago, it was, you're in the library.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, it's okay to have a vineyard that wants to only cater to a traditional, more formal wine experience. If that is what you want, and you're the millionaire who's operating that place, and you say, I don't want anybody having a birthday party here. I don't want anybody who's not, I don't want anybody wearing a hat.
No fun.
I want no laughter. That's fine. I mean, you can have a very austere vineyard, just like you can have a library that's not.
And what's the name of that church?
What?
I'm not.
Really? I mean, well, to be honest, there are some places.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it would be. But it would seem to me if you're going to have a drink or two, or to go to a party or a wedding,
Right.
you want to have a good time. Now, you said to me on your email, Marie, that you have done 80 or 90 weddings just out at Saltwater.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's amazing.
I love it there because you know what I love after the fact? The pictures of the, especially inside, the ceiling, the visuals to me when you walk in, just do it all.
Well, and this is another example of reading the room. Being a justice of the peace is about getting to know the couple, their family, their story. And sometimes they want you to make some jokes. Sometimes they just want you to power through and get them to cocktail hour.
Yeah, right.
You have to know, just like if you're DJing or you're pouring wine for somebody or you're writing something for them or performing on a local stage or any of the other 1,000 things that Rona does on a daily basis. You know, you have to be plugged into that experience and you have to be accountable to your participation, you know?
Yeah, I would imagine. I mean, do you mostly get, how long is it going to take? Can you do this in 20 minutes?
I work with all my couples, so they fill out a questionnaire for me, and that's the fodder I use to create the ceremony. And then I send it to them, and I say, do whatever you want. Take out whatever you want, add whatever you want, and just send it back to me the way you want me to perform it. Meaning, I hope it's perfect the way it is, but it doesn't matter to me one bit if somebody takes something out, adds something in. It's like, it's your day. Who wouldn't want somebody to have their day exactly the way they want it?
Exactly.
So I'm easy on that.
But, well, you're different than a lot of them. I can't speak for justices of the peace. I know one of them from Stonington, but I don't know, every minister, priest, rabbi has his or her own way of doing
I don't roll that
them.
way. I grew up very strict Irish Catholic. And actually, let me correct something. So I was a JP for 20 years. Now I'm a non-denominational minister strictly for my wedding ministry. And I also do life celebrations. But as far as when I'm working with the couple, I do it. I started this because of what happened to me. My husband and I, we eloped in New York City. I was young. I thought it was going to be romantic, and it was everything but. It was like slapstick comedy, what went on. So with that said, after the fact, I remember thinking about it. I was like, how could I have gotten that so wrong? And then I thought, you know what? I'm going to start marrying people, and I'm going to make it exactly the way they want it. So they have the wedding they want.
I like that.
Exactly. Not with ego involved.
And you don't have any problem same-sex couples?
Oh,
it
no.
doesn't bother you at all?
I got a lot of issues, but that's not one of them.
Okay. Let's, we've only got a couple of minutes left with Greg.
Let's pepper him with questions. Now, this one is, I like the first one better. What's this one?
Too.
It's Cabernet Franc based. Each vintage of rosé or white or red varies based on the harvest, the growing season year. So this one is a little bit more, what we would say is maybe a baked fruit, a little bit denser, and
seems drier to me.
Oh, why?
And I know you said this one was drier.
So this is definitely lighter. The dryness of the wines, I think, is pretty subjective to your palate, what you've had to eat today.
It's more.
What goes with
that was a little
bagels?
sweet. The first one's a little sweet or something.
See, I disagree. I think the Pinot Noir Rosé is a little bit drier than the Cabernet.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, here's the deal. Just so you know, you don't know this about me at all. I adore wine. I love learning. So sincerely, for the rest of our lives, anytime you see me, give me something. But educate me.
But I mean, for example, yesterday when I was in New York for those 2 days, when we were doing blind taste testings, I mean, we're all adults, but they prefaced it by saying, before we go into a blind tasting session, really think carefully about what you're eating and drinking before you go into those rooms.
Yeah.
Huge.
And some people are
is
walking
there a
in.
lunch break and somebody goes and has a pizza with chilies on it?
One of the girls
they're gonna
yesterday
kill
literally came in and she was doing her tasting and goes, I'm getting fresh dough. I'm getting spice. And the lady stopped her and goes, what did you have for lunch? She goes, New York pizza, pepperoni pizza. She goes, sit down. She goes, go have some water, eat a croissant or something a little bit.
So my tomato basil soup for lunch is influencing me.
It's different.
Because I just ate it.
Yeah, it's definitely not. Well, and again, it's the people that taught that class yesterday would probably say there is a right way to do it, but ultimately wine is an experience. And, you know, I prefer the Pinot Noir Rosé a little bit. It's very subjective. It's how it makes you feel and how it fits in with your place in time. Yeah.
You know, I keep thinking because, and I'm always afraid to say this in Westerly because somebody will be out there and shoot me when I leave. I don't like Italian food. And when you
yeah, I mean that's
Nice
when
knowing you.
welcome to Post Around Town, your new host.
When you talk about Italy and all the villages and all that, when you're eating Italian food, you're getting garlic, a lot of garlic, or onions, or any one of a number of spices. How difficult is that then to pair wine with that?
Well,
Can I save Rona's life for a second?
Yeah, I was going to say, go ahead.
She's allergic to garlic. She doesn't necessarily not like Italian food.
No,
she's allergic. Shut up.
Shut up.
But also,
Like pasta.
I think saying you don't like Italian food to an Italian food map is as crazy as saying that you don't like Chardonnay, given how diverse Chardonnay is represented. Because you have to remember, Italy, with the wine and food, is much different when you're up in the north, straddling the Alps. You know, I wrote an article for Inc. About a chilled red from a vineyard that is at basically the last stretch of land right before Switzerland. Mm-hmm. That is going to be a very different food, wine culture than what you have down in Sicily. And then everything in the middle, Tuscany and this, that. So, I mean,
in Calabria, way down to
So
Sicily.
I again, like the Italian food in the north of Italy has more of a French and Germanic feel to it. It is less garlic, honestly. It's less tomato. It's more.
I'll just say this:
roasted
wind
meats.
things up, and this will get me definitely when I go out.
All right.
If it doesn't taste like grilled cheese and potato chips, it's not Italian food for me.
All right, and honestly, I mean, one thing I will volunteer is that I knew I didn't know much about Italian wine before I took this test, and now I'm much more certain that I don't know anything about Italian wine. Right. And I'm going to spend a while digging into it because I did not know how strict their laws were. And how territorial they are over their varietals.
Met you where you were, which is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You are going to become a regular here or a semi-regular. We're going to have you back. Again, you have been listening to Greg Post. He is a co-manager at Saltwater Farm Vineyard, associated with Kingdom of the Hawk. He writes a column for Inc. magazine. You can tell Mike and Marilee Connery, and we will tell Jeff Lilly from Inc. They'll be getting bills from 321 Media. This has been a great commercial for them, but you are a great ambassador. So thank you so much. Your column is due tomorrow.
I am quite aware.
Get on it.
All right.
When we're going to take a break, when we come back, we will be with Marie Tyler Wiley. And if she and I finish the bottles, you'll be with DJ Gadget. You'll be back at Man About Town, 321 Media here in downtown Westerly, and we'll be back.
Wood River Health is my home for health.
Wood River Health is a one-stop shop for primary medical care, dental care, behavioral health, and social services. We care for the members of our community because they are our community. I'm Allison Croak, President and CEO of Wood River Health. Since 1976, our health center has provided high-quality, affordable health care to residents of Rhode Island and southeastern Connecticut. We are your neighborhood health center. Let us be your home for health.
Experience local excellence with Roof Right Roofing in Charlestown, Rhode Island. With over 40 years of unmatched expertise, Roof Right specializes in architectural shingles and holds the prestigious title of GAF Master Elite Installers. Known for their commitment to the community and support for local initiatives, Roof Right is your trusted partner for all of your home's roofing needs. Call today for a free estimate at 401-212-4140.
Hi, this is Dan from Lathrop Insurance. In this challenging insurance environment, Lathrop Insurance can be your beacon in the storm to help you find the coverage you need at the right price. Now, more than ever, you need a partner in the insurance industry that can work with multiple carriers to make sure you have the right coverage at the right price. Lathrop Insurance carries home, auto, and business insurance and can be reached at 401-596-2525. We've been supporting the local community since 1939, and we look forward to working with you.
What's going on, everybody? It's Patrick down here at the Wireless Zone at Dunn's Corners at 224 Post Road, and everybody down here is getting the brand new iPhone 16. We have it here in stock. The best part is right now, if you trade in your old phone, you get it for free. We got deals all weekend, awesome savings. Come on down and see us, 224 Post Road, Dunn's Corners, Verizon Wireless Zone. We'll see you soon.
Do you want to get your business in front of over 100,000 viewers every month? Advertise with 321.
Who? That's all we hear is you kind.
Do you want to get your business in front of over 100,000 viewers every month? Advertise with 321 and enjoy the best value in local advertising while supporting free community live streams. Your message will be seen across live high school sports, morning shows, and local events, connecting you directly with engaged audiences, boosting your visibility, growing your brand, and helping us keep these broadcasts accessible to everyone for free. Partner with 321 today and watch your business thrive.
Well, we didn't want to, but we got rid of Greg Post.
See you later, Gator.
He did. He left his bottles, so
We're happy.
We're getting happier by the moment. So now we are here with Marie Tyler Wiley, Justice of the Peace.
Well, here, let me correct you on that. I was a JP.
All right. You're
Now
a
I'm not
wedding
anymore.
officiant.
Wedding officiant covers everybody. It covers if whoever you're going to find out on the street who's going to marry you, wedding officiant does the job.
Okay. So if they wanted a real Catholic ceremony, they wouldn't be doing it at the vineyard. They'd be doing it in a church.
Well,
first.
true, except for that I have the blessing of the Catholic Church to do what I do.
So
Because
you could
we
do
grew
a
up
full
extremely
wedding
strict.
mass.
What's that?
You could do a full wedding mass.
No. No. I don't do any of that jazz. What I mean is, as the Catholic Church gave me a ration back 25 years ago, and because we were really tight, we grew up with everybody. I mean, we were normally at the Archbishop's residence. The Archbishop and all the bishops were at our house for dinner parties and stuff. So we were really tight with them. And Monsignor Mullen got me one day and said, "Hey, we don't appreciate that you're doing weddings right now." And I looked at, he knew me before I was even born. And I looked at him and I said, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "They're supposed to be going to church. You know this." And I said, "Oh, you're kidding, right? Now you're joking now." Because I wanted to get married in the church, but I couldn't because my husband had been married before and they hadn't had an annulment. And that was not going to happen. So I just told him the truth. And by the end of it, he was 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. All right. And
how many can you do in 4 hours?
I've done easily 36.
Whoa.
In 4 hours, but they're
you're fast.
They're all abbreviated ceremonies. They're
Sure.
not my usual 20-minute, 25-minute ceremonies.
Right.
You know, normally when I do a big wedding and they have a big bridal party, I do, you know, the whole enchilada with, you know, 2 readings. You have music coming in, you have music in the middle, you have music at the end. So that's always between, you know, 30 and 40 minutes, depending on. And that's with 2 readings, smaller readings, not big, long ones. But anyway, so all you have to do is go to the Stonington Town Hall, get your wedding license, and it's a 10-minute drive to see me over at the old Mystic Village.
And that's a great little chapel.
Well, it
is. It's
and
just
you know,
so
it's
picturesque.
called the Meeting House.
Yes, I know that.
And every time I look at it, I'm like, I don't get it. Well, whatever. But the bottom line is, it's the only building there that looks like a church. And it has been run like a church. They've actually had a pastor there for like 15 years, and now he's gone. But they did they had their Sunday stuff for years.
Okay, so now you're 3,500 weddings. Good Lord. Of those 3,500, are there a couple that you say, oh boy, this is in the top 10?
Yeah. Well, you know, and so I was going to say, I honestly have been truly, truly blessed. I think when people choose me, we resonate with one another. I mean, who's going to hire somebody that they don't get good vibes from? Yeah. That's not happening. So I've been really lucky, but I'll give you a couple of them. I marry a lot of the military from the base and the Coast Guard Academy, and I give them all $100 discount. All right. Wow. So,
but of course, in Mystic, there is no discount because that's free when you're doing it.
On Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day, it's always free. But I'm talking about the other weddings when somebody calls me and says, hey, we wanted to get married on Thursday or Friday. Are you available? And I say, sure. So, but the bottom line is there was one, the kids went and got their license. I met them down at the beach, down at Esker Point, over in Noack. And a police officer showed up. And I was like, what are you doing here? And he said, somebody in the bridal party called and said that the father of the bride was very upset and he didn't want them to get married. And I was like, oh, that's not fun.
And the father wasn't there?
He showed up. And so he came right over to me and he said, you can't marry them. And I said, well, why is that, sir? I mean, I'm a parent. I get how parents feel.
Yeah.
And so, but I wanted to see what he was going to come up with. Like maybe she lied about her age or somehow, you know, even though you do have to show ID and stuff. But unfortunately, he shot himself in the foot when he said, well, she's ADHD. And I looked at him and I said, so am I. And he goes, well, she's dyslexic. I go, so am I. And I go, we're really getting down on the excuses now.
We're done here.
Listen, I'm so sorry that you don't agree. And she is of age. And there's nothing I can do to prevent it. So the truth is, if she's going to get married by somebody, she might as well get married by me, somebody who's got a full heart with the intention of like giving the kids, you know, I always try and imprint myself on them in the direction of love. Like when the going gets tough, the tough get going. You know, marriage isn't a destination, it's an experience. So the father came right up, said that, and I repeated what I just said to him. And then he just looked at me after the second one. He goes, okay. And I said, okay, thanks. And so
wow, you were lucky.
No, I was. But like I said, I've been really, really, really lucky.
So the part of a marriage where like you say, if anyone is against this
No,
marriage,
I never say that.
No.
I never said it. And I actually wouldn't say it.
Is that like legit though? Can people like stand up?
Totally. But usually what
can.
happens is the priest would stop, or who's ever performing would stop and just take them aside and talk to them. And, you know, I've never seen it done, but I imagine.
I've always wanted to. I'm not going to lie. I have always wanted to see somebody go, I oppose this man. Like, I object.
You are so funny. Yeah, no, and actually, I wouldn't do that if somebody, even if they asked me, like if they said, could you do that part?
Yeah.
I'd be like, I'm not the girl for you because
No.
that doesn't roll with me. I don't like that.
Right on.
And you know, when I said I'll do anything, and I do. Another great story was over, where were we? Jonathan Edwards Winery. I forget where it was.
So most of the weddings you've done in this area.
Oh yeah. So
in
for
the
the first three,
Stoningtons.
for the first 3 years, I drove the state of Connecticut and Rhode Island. And at the end of the third year, I realized I didn't like it. I was unhappy and I couldn't figure it out because I remember being parked in my car and I'm thinking, what's going on? And I was like, I love doing what I do. I love it. And so then I was like, oh, it's the driving. All the driving I was doing. I was never home with my kids. They were younger then. And I realized, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to be not available to my
what's your
kids.
territory now? Is it
My
like delivering
territory
a
now,
pizza?
I call it my circle of love. First of all, if you want to get married on a mountaintop, I've actually married on mountaintops. I married in a hot air balloon. On boats, of course, and stuff like that. But my territory pretty much is from Madison, Connecticut. I pretty much stay on the coastline because it's always 90% of the weddings are during the summer.
Yep.
And it's hotter than Hades inland.
Yep.
So I stay on the shoreline because I am postmenopausal. And I stay on the shoreline and I might go in 10, 15 miles, but that's about it. So I go from Madison, Connecticut, over to Narragansett. I used to go to Newport.
Oh, you do
and all
go
that
far,
stuff.
though.
That's not far. I'm kind of in the middle because I'm in Mystic.
Yeah.
So it's, from Mystic, Madison's a little further.
I
but
thought you were going to give us like a 5-mile radius, like delivering Chinese
it's like a 30,
food.
25 mile, 30 mile, or Madison's a little further, but I don't get a lot of those anyway. So it's not a big deal.
I bet you get Narragansett, though, because it's gorgeous there.
Yeah.
It is beautiful.
And Ocean House, everything over
Sure.
here. The vineyards and stuff over here too. So I do that. And
Yeah, when you told me, when I said, I wonder if you know Greg, and you said, well, I've done it about 80 or 90 there. That's a lot of weddings.
oh, it is. It is. Oh yeah. But you know what? First of all, and I was being honest with them, I love wine. I love learning about it. It's just so much fun. What he gave me today, which I'm thrilled about, because I'm going to Italy. So it's like, I've been to Italy a few times, but it was only in restaurants that I was drinking wine. And it didn't occur to me like the idea of villages, like going intentionally to a village to taste their wine. Now I'm like this. That is my mission. So that's what I learned. And that's what I'm going to do.
That's great.
Yeah. Well, it was wonderful. It was wonderful to learn from them. That's why I was like, oh, this is great. Anytime I see him, I can just bug him for information.
Besides not saying if anyone here has any reason why, blah, 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 is there anything you won't do if asked? Have you ever been asked by a couple or by a family, we want you to insert this or do that? Or...
Oh, certainly with, and actually sometimes I would do it just to have fun with the couple, depending on the couple, just do fun things like goof up on the guys when he's doing the I do parts, the vows, and just goof up. And when he gets down to the end, say something like, because they're repeating after me.
Right.
And I promise to love and, protect you all of my life. And he repeats it. And then I would say, and I promise to do every single thing you want me to do, no matter what. And they'd stop and they'd be like, then everybody would burst out laughing.
Yeah. I'm not saying that.
Or that I'm always, or you're always right.
Yep.
But that's few and far.
But you got to have the right kind of couple.
Oh, yeah. But, and so another couple that I forget where it was.
They don't do honor and obey much anymore, do they?
No. In fact, most of them say, I want to make sure. I said, don't worry. It's going to be exactly the way you want it. No questions asked. One of my other couples, I was at a winery and they had said to me, oh, we want you to do a shot with us at the end after we do our vows. And I looked at him, I said, a shot? I said, oh, I'm sorry. Nobody was around, just kids. And I said, I don't do shots. I mean, I did it one night, the night before my sister got married. It was the first time I had a hangover, was at her wedding.
Oh,
I looked white as a ghost, just beyond. and truly, I woke up in the morning. I'm one of 10 kids.
Whoa.
I'm Irish Catholic. Yes, Irish Catholic issues.
Very
And
Irish Catholic.
I'm one of 10, and I'm number 6, so I'm right in the middle. And my first hangover was my sister's wedding day. I woke up, had never had a hangover, so I didn't know what it was. I thought I was having a stroke. And so one of my brothers, I have 6 boys. I'm in the middle of 6 boys. So one of the brothers walks in. And remember at the end of The Wizard of Oz, all the guys who work on the farm are gathered around the bed where Dorothy's laying and she wakes up.
Yes.
And so one brother comes in and goes, "What's wrong with you?" And I go, I'm like this. I can barely talk. And I'm dead serious. I'm like almost crying, but I can't cry because my head hurts. So I go, I think I'm having a stroke. He goes, "What?" And I said, "What are you laughing at?" He goes, "Stay right there." He gets the rest of the boys, brings them back, and he goes, "Okay, tell them what you just told me." And I'm like, Why are you making fun of me? I said, "I think I'm having a stroke." And they all burst out laughing. They go, "Hey, you idiot. That's a hangover. I told you not to do shots last night." The boys were doing
you did
shots.
You did more than one.
Oh, yeah. My brothers were doing shots, so I was hanging with the boys. I didn't hang too well, obviously, but I had never done it before. So this couple goes, "We want you to do a shot." I haven't done a shot since that. Then
what did you do? A shot of tomato juice?
I was 23 or 25. I don't know how old I was. I guess I was 25 when she got married. And I'd never had a hangover. So the bottom line is they go, "We want you to do a shot." And I'm like a deer stuck in headlights. I go, all I can think back to is how I felt that morning, when I had my first hangover. And I go, "Oh, no, I'm sorry. I don't do shots." And they're like, "No, you have to." And I go, No, you guys go have fun. They're like, "No, come on, Marie, you're marrying us. Come on, we really want you." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Then they said what I was going to drink, and they named a tequila. I wouldn't take a shot of tequila.
That's tough stuff.
If you put a gun to my head, I wouldn't take a shot of tequila.
I drank the whole freaking bottle.
Oh, to kill you, it did.
I love it.
Oh, Lord.
That was my poison. I've been sober for 1,712 days. Yeah, but tequila was I loved margaritas, and then it went from margarita where you have tequila, triple sec, and the margarita mix and a splash of lime juice to tequila, triple sec, half of the mix and a splash of lime juice.
To the lime juice
to pint glass of ice, tequila, and a splash of lime juice.
Oh,
I drink good.
Good for you, though.
I don't feel well just listening to you.
Well, whatever they
my
named,
God.
I was terrified because I thought, I know myself, I have a gag reflex.
Nope.
So I thought in front of, they had 250 people at the wedding. And I thought, oh my God. And so I just thought right before I went over to get the glass, they had gotten theirs. And I just did a quick little prayer, "Please, God, protect me." So I take it and I did it right with them. And I went, "Hey, that wasn't bad." And they're like, "Oh, you want another one?" I was like, no. But I survived. So, I do little things.
Gosh.
Yeah,
I guess you do everything for your
and
art.
I will. There's nothing. I mean, there's nothing that I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't do anything that hurt anybody, but
Sure.
Anything goofy or
Do
serious.
you know how many you now have lined up for the day after tomorrow?
Well, let's see. I have had at least 20 phone calls, which most of the time people don't call.
They just show up?
Yeah, they mostly just show up. They see it on the TV, on the radio, and they just show up.
But they got to have their papers or else.
Yeah. Well, they hear about it. Wherever they hear about it, they get all the info. So I know it's going to be busy. I just got a guy who emailed me today and said, "Hey, we want to do a vow renewal." And I wrote back, I go, "Woohoo. All right. See you on Friday. Let me know it's you." You know, because
you don't need papers for that.
No, and that's right.
Does anyone ever tip you?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
I was thinking they've got to. I mean, she's saying she's doing it for free. I'm sure very few just walk out.
No, they're very kind, very nice, and it doesn't bother me if somebody. The truth is, my reason for doing this is it's kind of like a thank you to the world. Like I am really lucky. I could be in squalor or somewhere. I don't know, but I've been really, really lucky. So it's kind of my thank you to the world.
Did you marry any of your remaining 9 brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I married 1, 2, 3. What is he? Number 4. I married number 4.
See, she doesn't even know their names. It's just, hey, you're number 4.
No. Here it was growing up, and you're one of 10. We're all Irish twins. Basically, all of us are which is disgusting.
Your twins?
Your poor mother.
Irish twins, born in the same year. So
Oh.
my mother would get home from the.
Did
from
your
the-
mother ever walk again?
Yeah, that's what I mean. And so, no. Here's the deal. You're going to laugh at this. My mother got a special dispensation. They said to her in 1966, Gail, we insist you go on birth control. Because they're like
And the
rabbits.
Catholic Church said that.
Yes, yes. But here's the deal: the things that people don't know about the Catholic Church. If you're tight with them, they'll do anything for you. They really will. None of this nonsense. I mean, they're not going to do anything illegal, but stuff. Well, besides the obvious. But I'm trying to get a job with the Pope, by the way. If I can get there, I'm going to work for free. All it requires $2 square a day and a little hovel. It can be a closet to call my own. And he has to dance with me once a month. Because I hear he's a great Brazilian dance. He does, cha-cha-chas and all that stuff.
Oh my, that's fun.
I am looking. We're going to take a break now because it's a perfect time to stop with Brazilian dancing. We are speaking with Marie Tyler Wiley. She used to be a justice of the peace. Now she is I was going to say a wine officiant. She is a wedding officiant and a wine officiant.
Oh, it is.
You still have a few openings for Friday in Mystic?
Plenty.
So if you are looking to finally stop calling her or him my fiance, I'm so sick of years ago when people said that it really meant fiance. Now they just say fiance as they're being let off to jail usually, but everybody's a fiance. If you're serious about it and marriage means something to you, as I can tell it does to you, you want to contact Marie Tyler Wiley. What's the best way? Website, right?
Well, actually, I can give them myself. 860-941-9519. 860-941-9519. And the truth is, if you remember the name Marie Tyler Wiley, just Google it. You'll find out everything you ever wanted to know or didn't want to know about me.
But that's a good thing that you said that, because a lot of people listening to us are in cars.
Yeah.
We don't want them getting into accidents.
Nope.
So it's Marie Tyler Wiley. You are listening to Man About Town from 321 Media. We're in downtown Westerly where nothing's happening yet. It's just sort of threatening, but it's still beautiful down here. Great downtown. We will be back with the rest of you shortly.
Experience local excellence with Roof Right Roofing in Charlestown, Rhode Island. With over 40 years of unmatched expertise, Roof Right specializes in architectural shingles and holds the prestigious title of GAF Master Elite Installers. Known for their commitment to the community and support for local initiatives, Roof Right is your trusted partner for all of your home's roofing needs. Call today for a free estimate at 401-212-4140.
Hi, this is Dan from Lathrop Insurance. In this challenging insurance environment, Lathrop Insurance can be your beacon in the storm to help you find the coverage you need at the right price. Now, more than ever, you need a partner in the insurance industry that can work with multiple carriers to make sure you have the right coverage at the right price. Lathrop Insurance carries home, auto, and business insurance and can be reached at 401-596-2525. We've been supporting the local community since 1939, and we look forward to working with you.
What's going on, everybody? It's Patrick down here at the Wireless Zone at Dunn's Corners at 224 Post Road, and everybody down here is getting the brand new iPhone 16. We have it here in stock. The best part is right now, if you trade in your old phone, you get it for free. We got deals all weekend, awesome savings. Come on down and see us, 224 Post Road, Dunn's Corners, Verizon Wireless Zone. We'll see you soon.
D&V Mechanical specializes in the installation, maintenance, and servicing of Mitsubishi ductless mini-split heat pump systems. We are certified by Mitsubishi as Diamond Elite contractors and factory trained and up to date on the proper procedure of the installation and service of Mitsubishi ductless heating and air conditioning ductless heat pumps. We assist with the paperwork to reduce much of the stress-related documentation required to get the state rebates and federal tax incentives. We are not a jack-of-all-trades, master-of-nothing company. We are masters of ductless heat pumps. It's what we do, and it's what we know.
Come on into the clubhouse, gang. We are back at Man About Town. And as I've said for many years, especially working with DJ Gadget, you never know. There's a better story sometimes when we're in break than there is on the air. And we just found out that DJ Gadget, in addition to all the other things you've done in your life, is also an ordained wedding official.
Yep, it's a ordained minister, and I did it because I didn't know you could just do it, but you go and do it.
I'll give you the story about that.
Yeah,
after.
and I was at a wedding. I was DJing, and the cocktail hours running and running and no, not cocktail. Well, it was like the intros. It wasn't even. We didn't even get to. And I'm like, what is happening? Did somebody not show up? I'm panicking. I felt like the groom didn't show up. The bride, somebody didn't show up. The JP didn't show up.
Wow.
And so they were waiting and waiting and waiting, and this JP just never showed up. And they're calling him, not getting an answer. And I was like, holy crud. So as soon as I figured out what was going on, I got on Google and I'm calling everybody. I tried to call my uncle. I tried to call everybody I knew. My uncle's a JP, but I'm like, dude, somebody get here. Just get here. And I told them, I was like, if you want to fake it, I would fake it. I'll do it. I'll fake it.
Right.
And you can get married later.
Right.
And they were like, she's crying. Her makeup's already screwed.
Aww.
It was just a mess. And I'm like, all right, you go take her, get this, and I'm going to get somebody here. And I did. I got somebody there. And they gave me the biggest tip I've ever seen in my life.
Good for you.
Wow.
You saved
Amazing.
the day.
Yeah. The
You
mom
saved
came
the day.
over and was like, this is for you. And I was like, thank you.
And then,
well,
very
yeah.
cool. That's awesome.
So yeah, if it ever happened again, I could just step in and
save the day.
do it. Yeah.
All right, Marie Tyler Wiley, let's hear your story.
All right. So first of all, let me explain about the ministry, the online stuff. So I was doing weddings for like 5 years. Morning, noon, and night, I was always over at the Ocean House or over in Narragansett. And every time I did a wedding, they would have to pass a bill in the legislative branch for the state of Rhode Island in order to give me a one-day pass.
Right. Yeah.
And so they kept doing that and kept doing it. And it was just a PIA for me because I was like, oh my God, I got to make sure that that's got all taken care of. So I'm legal. Finally, one day I was so sick of it. And I called the governor's office. I got whoever on the phone, Rhode Island governor. And I said, look, do you know how much time and energy and money you're wasting doing this? Just
Rhode Island's good at that.
yeah, and well, there we go. And I said, just find me something, some way to make it legal so we don't have to go through this because I'm not moving. I'm going to be here for the rest of my life. And I have been. That was 25 years ago. So the office called me 2 weeks later and said, hey, we found something you can do. You can go online. We want you to go to this ministry. It covers all the laws for all the states. Go online, take their course, sign up, do it, and whatever. And so I did. And so the truth is, I never pretend I'm the second coming when it comes to because
You're the first coming.
Somebody just has to listen to me after a glass of wine, and they'll be like, "Oh." So, bottom line is, so
now wait a minute. After a glass of wine that you've had or that they've had?
Oh no, me. No. So anyway, so the bottom line is, I got into marrying people from my own experience. So my husband and I, we eloped in New York City. Did I say this to you before?
That's okay.
Yeah. So
we've made arrangements for you to go somewhere after.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, that MCT oil, I'm waiting for it to kick in. But the bottom line was there was slapstick comedy down in New York City. And then coming home, I remember my first wedding. I, to my own ears, sounded like a machine gun. I was so scared. And
were you reading from a book?
Oh yeah, I always have my thing, and I'm reading from it. But I was there's only like 100 people, but I was shaking, physically shaking. And as I'm going through it, I can hear my voice, and it sounds like it's warbling. It's like like that, and so I mentally slapped myself alongside the head and said to myself, "Snap out of it. They think you're a pro. You told them you were. Get your act together." And so I did. I finished off, and it was a strong finish and stuff. And of course, the more you do, the easier it becomes.
I'm sure.
If you've never done one, at least for me, and I knew I was going to be doing one, I was like a deer in headlights. And this is me. You're a DJ. I was a DJ also.
Nice.
And so I thought, my DJ, the way I am on the radio, I thought, oh, this will transition easily over. Yeah, no. And it's just maybe just my personality.
Right.
I want to do everything perfect. So I'm always very judgmental on myself.
Which is good, really.
Yeah.
That's how I am, but
Well, like
I
that, you
think
said
that's good.
JP didn't show. I was like, holy moly.
That's horrible.
I think if I were to step in at that moment, though, even if we were faking it
Mhm.
until they could get married later, I would have probably been like that. Like,
It's just scared the first time. It's like your job.
you don't want to mess it up.
Well, look at,
yeah.
I haven't been doing this in 10 years.
Right.
So all the technology has come in now.
Yep.
I'm going to have to be trained for it because I want to do another show.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll have to be trained because before 10 years ago, it was totally different. We're still
Analog.
spinning,
Yeah.
the whole 9 yards. So I always say to people, because what happens is I would say 60% of the kids out there who get their friends to do it. And then a month before the wedding, the friend bags out because
Yeah.
they're scared. They're intimidated. They've never done it. It's like I say to people, I'll say to my bride or groom or whoever it is, what do you do? Well, let's pretend I'm a math teacher. I said, can you imagine me walking into your class tomorrow and trying to teach math is my worst thing. I wouldn't even understand what I'd be trying to, but can you imagine me
I can relate to that.
Can you imagine me trying to do that? I mean, it just, when you're trained for something, it shows because it's flawless. Like, to me, weddings should be respectful. Yeah, you can bet I have fun. I have all these little old Italian moms coming up to me going, oh, I wish you had married my children. They did. And or people say, oh, you really don't, or you don't love your job much. And it's true. I love what I do and I do what I love.
And it shows.
It shows.
Obviously.
Because you take care,
Now, if someone is listening and they don't want to be married at the Old Mystic Village on Friday between 10 and 2, but they want to book you for a wedding in May, for June, next Thursday, still the website, correct?
Right. So the website is very simple. It is CT, short for Connecticut, JP, short for Justice of the Peace, Marie. So it's ctjpmarie.com or just my name, Marie Tyler Wiley. I'll be the first thing that comes up, I hope.
Very good.
Yeah, so you can, and I have a full website. Everything gets done on the website. And I also do wedding planning and stuff because I've been doing it for 25 years.
Oh, I bet you
literally,
have.
it makes me laugh because you know how everybody takes 9 months or more to plan a wedding. I literally, if I was with a couple tonight and they said they wanted to get married on Friday, I literally could have a big, beautiful wedding as long as the space was available.
Sure. And the caterer that they wanted.
Yeah, but of course, at this time of year, it's a given. You're good. You're good to go.
Right.
But what I mean is I know all the players in the game. And you don't call somebody you don't trust. You only call the people you know you can depend on because you all trust each other because you've all worked together. So the truth is whatever of the day, the wedding coordinators of the day, they pay people to do that. I'm like, well, you know what? If you get the right people on board, you don't need that extra cost because we all know our jobs.
Exactly.
And we all do our jobs. That's why we're professionals.
Well, that's why most of the places, in fact, I'd say all of them, whether it's the Ocean House, whether it's Saltwater Farm, Kingdom, any of them, have a list of preferred vendors.
Oh, yeah. And that's, I have people.
And they ask that I know with Saltwater Farm, I know this because I just finished doing an article for them that's going to be in ink next month. With the caterers, they have 4 caterers they work with. You must pick one of those 4. When it comes to flowers, musicians, dresses, makeup, cake, they give you recommended, but you don't have to use them.
Right. And the reason why with the caterers is you have caterers who are extremely efficient, do the right thing at all times, and clean up properly.
They know their kitchen and what works there.
That builds with time. You could be a new caterer and just end up, by the grace of God, they let you in, and then they see that you know your stuff.
Right.
And it's the dependability. That's why I always say to brides, if you need a planner, I can get this done for you because I know everybody all the caterers, all the photographers, the whole 9 yards, all the venues. And I only recommend the people that I trust.
Yeah.
I mean, I would never
the ones
recommend
that are going to show up.
Well, that's what I mean. You would never because your reputation's on the line. If I
Absolutely.
recommend Joe Schmo who's not going to show up or doesn't do a proper job, is not responsive. I mean, you have to be responsive to your couples at all times. It's not a big deal. I always say to, people feel, or young women, a lot of times will feel embarrassed. Oh, I'm sorry for asking. This might be a stupid question. I say, look, no question stupid. You've never been through this before. I said, I'll give you a little example. I race sailboats. All right. I race yachts. Every year, without fail, I have to remind myself what every line is on the boat, what it's for. And if you end up on all different sailboats are set up differently. So I can't apply what's on one boat to another boat. So I always say to my brides, look, kid, you know me. I could talk a dog off a meat wagon. Just give me a call and I'll help you.
Right.
Tell
me about, because I don't know if this happens as much now as it did years ago, or if that makes no sense, because it will always happen. You're getting ready for the wedding ceremony to begin.
Mm-hmm.
And the father, the mother, somebody in the wedding party comes and says, we have a problem. Cold feet. What do you do about somebody who says, I don't think I want to get married?
You pull them by the freaking ear.
Well, I tell you what, I was married before I married my husband for like 3 minutes. I was married.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, I was young and dumb. Sorry.
Yeah, how'd that go?
No, yeah, that didn't work out so well. And so, but here's the funny, which I tell my kids. I call my couples my kids. I'm sorry. They're usually younger people.
Mm-hmm.
But and I don't mean it because I'm one of 10 kids. So I was in the middle. So my younger brothers and sisters are kids to me.
Sure.
Even though they're adults. So when you're talking to this generation getting married, they're like, might as well have a pacifier in their mouth. So, but anyways, I always say to them, look, here's the deal. I can't say that. I always say it. But if I feel any kind of energy towards it, I will say, so here's one thing. This is my gift to you. I can give you 2 gifts in life. My first gift is, if when you're doing the vows, if you get a little like me, and I explain what happened. My first marriage, when it came to the I do's and we were doing the repeating, literally, what's his name from growing up? You're too young. What's his name from growing up? The cartoons. Sam with Bugs Bunny, the guy, Elmer Fudd.
Elmer Fudd.
Well, one of those guys. It was a cartoon. It popped up like a cloud right here as I'm going to say my I do's. And it was a cartoon, and the guy was flipping his hand, flipping a coin and catching it and going, I do, I don't, I do, I don't. And so I just looked up and
with cartoons.
He was flipping a coin. And that's what I'm looking at when I'm getting married the first time. And so I look at it and I think, oh, you can make anything work. Just go for it. So I moved forward. Well, guess what? That didn't work out so well. So I didn't understand when I was getting married that first time. I didn't understand what I was seeing. It was me. My inside, my gut instinct screaming to me saying, wake up.
Yeah.
And I ignored it because I'm a trooper and I'll always go for anything. Let's do it. Let's fight. And so I just thought, no, I'll make this work.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out. And so now when I finally understood the symbolism of it, now I say to kids, if anybody has anything to say, I say, this is what you do. You turn around, you give them a kiss and you say, I love you. I'm sorry I can't do this right now. I said, you cannot go through if you feel that way.
Wow. So has that ever happened?
No.
That's good, because Dad has put a lot of money out.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Yeah.
He wouldn't be too happy with you.
In this day and age, it's like, you'd never want somebody to go through with something that's supposed to be a lifelong commitment.
Yeah.
Right. You would never want somebody to do that. And just, when clearly if I had any brains when I was first getting married, I would have recognized what I was seeing. That little cloud with the little cartoon guy flipping a coin, yes or no, yes or no.
Yeah.
And if I was more mature, I would have paid attention to it and just been like, you know what? We have to take a little break and have a discussion.
Yeah.
I just didn't understand.
Of course, today couples are different. Different good and different bad, both. Because unfortunately, we live in a throwaway society, and they figure, we'll get married if it doesn't work. We'll get divorced.
That hurts my feelings.
I know, but a lot of them are like that. A lot of them are.
Yeah, and I don't roll that way. I'm not going to judge people, but I must be honest. I have found it painful when I've run into somebody. It's happened like at least 2 times. The first time was shocking to me. I ran into a bride. I was like, "Hey, it had been like 3 years. How are you? It's so good to see you." And I always love my couples. I said,
And you can remember them after all that many.
"How's Joe doing?" She goes like this, dead serious. "Oh, I got rid of him like 3 months later." And I was like, I wanted to burst out crying. I was like, "Oh my God."
Even if I just DJ, I get really hurt. It really hurts when people say they got divorced. I'm like, oh, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh.
But
all that work
unfortunately,
for
a
nothing.
lot of people today, that's where they're at.
Yeah.
We're going to get married. She wants to get married. We'll get married. If it doesn't work, and they just throw them out.
Well, and I think it's basically probably the way they grew up.
Yeah.
As I said, the way I grew up, 12 years of Catholic schooling. And so I had an hour of religion every day for 12 years.
Did all 10 of you in the
Yeah,
family
yeah,
go through this?
Yeah. So 12 years of 1 hour education every day. And then because I love religion so much, I'm not a holy roller. I can't recite jack shit. Excuse my voice, French. I cannot explain. I can't recite one thing from the Bible, but my heart's always in the right place, right? So I loved religion. So I had 5 hours during the week, one each, an hour each day. And then on Monday nights, I went to catechism too for fun.
Wow. Oh, good.
I loved
for
religion.
fun?
For fun. And I was always, all right. So I'm ADHD, dyslexic, you name it, I am it. And so I'd come home with my, we had the nuns with the rulers and all that jazz. And I'd come home with my father. We were raised just like The Sound of Music.
Oh,
so
Lord.
my father was the stern one. My mother, she didn't have to take curtains down.
Did he blow the whistle different
He
times?
had a whistle.
He
And
did,
he'd go,
really?
He didn't even have to bring his fingers to his lips. He'd just go, and you could hear it like a mile away. And when you heard that whistle, you came running home. We all lined up, one to the other. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, sir. No, sir. It's stuff. So we grew up.
And you lined up by age or height?
Always.
Wow.
I remember he did this one year. He get on different kicks. One year it was like vitamins. Okay, you're all getting vitamins before you go out the door. Another year is you all drink a little glass of milk before you go to school. I must have been allergic to milk, but I always got sick when I drank it. And he didn't seem to understand that. Nobody had allergies back then. No discussion.
You're just acting up.
Yeah.
Quit acting up.
Exactly. He'd be like, drink it. I would be like to my brothers and sisters, because it was hilarious. I'd be like, I'll do the dishes for the week for you if you drink this for me, please.
Oh, I just wouldn't have gone to school. I've been like, nope, in the bathroom. Sorry.
Didn't even think of that. My dad was 6'5". He was a big dude. And you just, as a kid, you were just like this. Yes, sir.
Wow.
I think for me, it's very much less religion, but my community has fought so hard for the right to get married that it hurts so bad when people discredit it or don't think it through or don't take it seriously.
Marriage is marriage.
Yeah.
How would you not take it seriously? Love is love.
Right?
And that's what I always say. Love is love.
Me and my wife are really lucky. I actually have these 2 straight friends who refused to get married until everyone had the right to get married. And their marriage means so much to me. Just because they were together forever and they were a fiance forever, but they refused to because so many of their friends couldn't get married.
Wow.
Yeah. It was
Where
beautiful.
Are you from?
For them.
New London, Norwich. Yeah.
Oh, okay. How about you?
Me?
Yeah.
Originally or no?
Jersey.
Originally, I'm a Jersey girl.
Oh, Jersey.
Yeah.
Where all the good people
the big
come from.
hair, the white lipstick.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh my God, that's so funny.
Where all the rich people come. I was born in Newark.
I actually believe I was the first one to do a gay wedding in Connecticut, but I didn't notify anybody about it. And then this other person up in Harvard, whatever, ended up in papers. I was like, no, I was the first one. I was doing commitments to America.
You just did this now?
Yeah. I was like, you're way behind schedule. I had a list of people to marry. The commitment ceremony.
And why should that even be a thing? I was first. No, I was first.
Well,
I probably DJ'd the first gig.
Cool for you.
Because as soon as it went through, I was on a a bystander. Like I was in the ropes for going to All Souls.
Yeah.
Unitarian. I can't say the
Unitarian.
words.
London.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Carolyn, their minister or whatever she is, I'm sorry, I love you, Carolyn, called me and was like, "They passed, come on." And I went there, I set up, and it was the first gig that my mom showed up to.
Oh,
Wow.
And it was amazing. Yeah.
nice.
So that
Very nice.
you must have
Yeah.
been very pleased.
I was so happy that day.
Oh,
Yeah.
heck yeah.
SCOTUS voted it through to be a right.
They're not all states have not passed it, have they?
Yes.
They
It's
have?
a federal.
Well, now they're talking about
Even
you hear
the
rumblings.
deep
It's-
south.
The Supreme Court of the United States made it a federal law.
Right.
So yes.
Good.
Whether they like it or not has nothing to do with anything, but
But it is a federal
but you can
law.
say gay in Florida no matter what they say.
Right.
That's to you,
Wow.
DeSantis.
We've got about 5 minutes left. What do you want to tell us? We'll
All
give you
right.
the last word.
So I just want to make sure everybody knows when you get there, you sign in with our intake person. And
You're
her name is-
talking about the old Mystic
Yeah,
Village
the old
at the
Mystic
meeting
Village
house.
for the free Valentine's Day weddings that I perform every year there from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And I do stay. If there's more people, I stay until they're all done.
Do you
Aw.
give them slots? So
Yeah,
if
well,
I
they come
called,
in, chronologically, my intake person has their name and number.
okay,
So she,
they don't all show up at 10 o'clock.
no, but sometimes you do. You might have, 5 people showing up to get married with their entourage, all their friends and family, whatever. And so you'll sign in with Joanne Holly, who's the great, wonderful person, and she'll give you an envelope. The envelope is full of, it has 5 different ceremonies. They're all abbreviated. You literally just look through each one, decide which one works for you, and then she'll write it down on a little piece of paper, stick it onto your wedding license envelope, and then you'll come up and I'll marry them.
Wow.
So, and
But you are behaving. You're not going, number 6, come on
no,
down.
Deli order.
Jen and Mary, it's your turn now, like that. So in between. So what happens is we have professional photographers, Jamie and Sarah, photos and film. They're going to be on site there. They'll be recording everything. And so when you sign in with my intake person, then they'll come over and get your name. And so no matter what, they're taking pictures of every single wedding. And
Wow.
then
Wow.
they'll send you a link and you just tell them which ones you want. And they do it for a nominal fee. The whole point was,
It's like going to Santa Claus in the mall.
yeah,
And they're always taking pictures.
well, but the point is, you want your wedding documented.
Of course.
What's nothing? I mean, like Kip and I, oh my God, we have 2 pictures. One is on the bed. We're on the bed dressed like ding
Heyo.
dongs instead of taking a formal picture. And the other one's blurry.
I had a terrible wedding photographer.
Oh,
It's funny. I do so many weddings and I really screwed mine up.
well, you have
Um,
to give me your card because then I can recommend
Yeah.
you.
I had a great DJ. I had a terrible photographer. And we pulled a bunch of strings for my dad who had Alzheimer's to get out of the home and come to my wedding.
Wow.
We got them all dressed up. We had a personal nurse. We paid for it out
Wait
of
a minute.
pocket.
Why didn't I marry you?
I don't know. I didn't know you.
Oh.
I'm sorry. And so she just, I don't know, she blamed the windows. The building did have windows.
What that have to do with anything?
That was a problem. I don't know.
Oh Lord.
The outside photos came out nice.
I'm still trying to figure
You
out.
know, the building had windows. So
Yeah,
all the
so
lights,
because
I don't know
then
what
she
you do as a
didn't know what
If
she
you're a
was doing with
professional
lighting.
photographer,
Yeah.
You know how to deal with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know what it has to do with anything because I'm not a photographer. I own a camera. That's about it. But all the lights had I have astigmatism. So when I
me
drive
too.
at night, you see the lights go all the way up to the heavens and all the way down to hell.
Right.
It's
Oh
like,
my
"Wee."
God.
That was all of my wedding photos inside. Every
Wow.
single chandelier was like, "Whoosh."
Wow.
And I've asked many.
Obviously, they didn't know how to work with lighting.
No.
Can they
Which
fix
is
them
like
now?
Photog
know.
101.
Right.
I don't know.
That
But-
is really
And not
a
a single
shame.
picture of me and my dad walking down the aisle where I pushed
Oh.
him in his wheelchair.
So did you ask anybody, any of your friends, if
I
they
had a
by
s-
chance
Yes.
took a picture of
And we
us?
had so many better ones.
Oh,
Oh,
okay, good.
Yeah. And we had a cinematographer. I can't say it.
Cinematographer.
There we go.
Video,
Okay.
videographer.
No, and I'm thinking food food? Cinnamon? Is
I'm
there
like
something cinnamon?
How about videographer?
So
I
we
mean, I
froze
was
the
speech, I was
screen.
in speech for 10 years.
Yeah, we me too. Well, not that long. We froze the screen on the video and we've screen captured a bunch.
Right.
That worked really well too.
That's good.
Perfect.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Perfect.
So,
Well, Marie Tyler Wiley, thank you. I would love to show up on Friday and just see a wedding, but that wouldn't be fair.
oh my gosh, Rona, if I wasn't already married, I'd marry you.
Well, actually, and there's people that do show up to watch.
they?
Bottom line's
They
Friday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
But they wouldn't want.
I'm
somebody
doing
that don't-
regular weddings. I'm doing vow renewals and even commitment ceremonies.
Ah.
If you're not ready to take that big step, I've got some ceremonies you can choose from, and
So
do
it's
that
like,
too.
I think I want you. We'll just put a bookmark in this
Yeah,
and
right.
see you next year.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That'll be for the next time
Well,
you're
my whole
here.
thing is just to cater.
If you're listening on Facebook or YouTube and you're driving, just take a quick screenshot. This is her cell phone number, and we're going to keep it for 54321. This is her website, ctjpmarie.com. Take a quick screenshot.
Very good.
You're good.
Next week, we will have, speaking of Mystic, we will have at 3:00 the movie guy, Bill Doherty from the Mystic Luxury Cinemas, the All South County Cinemas, the Madison Cinema, and the Westbrook Cinemas. And he will be with us as he is every third Wednesday of the month. He will be followed by Carly Callahan and company from the United. There's always so much going on at the United, and I know she's going to want to talk about the Westies because she'll be here on the 19th, and the Westies are taking place on the 21st.
And guess
So-
who won one?
Did
No,
you?
we know
No.
a few people.
Rona won one.
So we will see you all next week. As I always say, take chances, but not on the road. But take chances, love life, and get married. You still have a chance. You don't even have a waiting period. Take care. See you next week. Man About Town. This is 321 Media, and this is Westerly, Rhode Island.
And Weirdsterly LLC and Weirdsterly.com.
Touchdown, Westerly!
A chance for the Chargers, and they score!
In the front, Guzzi again!